Can you actually learn a language just using apps? Um, Hi there, this is Anthony, and that is something that I wanted to look at today. I have wanted to learn Japanese for quite a while, and I wonder because there's a lot of language learning apps out there, and if you learn through an app, do you actually learn the language well, or do you just end up getting good at the app? Um, it's difficult. So for me, I've tried learning different languages, and when I was a kid, when I was about 10 years old, I really wanted to learn Dutch. And back then, it was literally, books and cassette tapes. And somehow, as a child, all of my enthusiasm for learning the language just disappeared as I saw this book full of verb tables and vocabulary that you had to learn. It wasn't that interesting to me. Um, when I was a little bit older, when I was a teenager, I started learning Chinese at a language center, and that was easier for me. It was a group of about 10 students together, and the classes were fun and interesting, and it was the main way that I started learning Chinese. So I would go for a class once a week for an hour or so. And then after that, I would go home and study a lot by myself. Um, I would watch Chinese TV shows. I would listen to Chinese songs. Um, and I would practice my reading and my writing. And I was a really good student, mainly because I was interested in it. But I never managed to learn Dutch in the end. I went back to study Dutch later on at the same language center, and I don't know what the difference was between learning Dutch and Chinese. Um, I couldn't get into it. And to be honest, I probably had a better reason for learning Dutch. My grandmother is Dutch. I have relatives in the Netherlands, and it would have been pretty useful for me to learn, far more useful than Chinese at that time. But I couldn't get into it. Now, I wasn't really interested in learning Japanese when I was younger. Um, I just hadn't been exposed to that much Japanese stuff. I'd seen a little bit of anime, but most of the anime that I saw in the UK growing up was dubbed into English. And I wasn't that interested in, Japanese entertainment and media and things like that. At least I wasn't as interested in that as I was interested in Hong Kong movies and Hong Kong music. Um, but later on, after moving to Hong Kong, I was exposed, strangely, to a lot more Japanese things. There were Japanese TV shows, like variety shows and things on TV. Um, there was a lot more. I had friends who would listen to Japanese music, and a lot of my friends here, a lot of my Hong Kong friends, would gush over everything Japanese. They would talk about how great it is to travel there and how much they love the language. And at the time, I didn't really get it, right? I thought Hong Kong was great. I was very happy being here, and I didn't know what all the fuss was about. And it was only, a few years ago that we traveled to Japan for the first time, and we went to Osaka, and it was great. It was a really nice place, um, and we've traveled there a few times since then. And because of that, really because of actually having gone to Japan and having, um, experienced what it was like over there. I mean, you know, nowhere is perfect, but we had nothing but nice experiences um, traveling over there, and I really wanted to learn a little bit more Japanese. Firstly, because if you can't read Japanese, there is kind of like a barrier to getting around. Um, Sometimes when you're waiting for the train in Japan, they have these displays, which they do have English as well, but the display will switch between English and Japanese, and you will see the names of the destinations of the trains written on the front in Japanese. And I remember thinking I could read the kanji. So kanji is the Japanese language has three different scripts. So they have hiragana, katakana, and kanji. And my pronunciation is probably terrible right now, so please forgive me. Um, and hiragana and katakana are characters that at the time I couldn't read at all. But there were these kanji characters which are based on Chinese characters. And because of that, I could I could read the name Osaka when I saw it written down, or I could read the name Tokyo when I saw it written down. So, that was good, but there was a lot written down, just in hiragana, or they would use, hiragana and kanji characters together, and I wouldn't necessarily know what it meant. So I started to think that it might be a good idea, before our next holiday, to at least learn the, you know, alphabet for want of a better word. And today I'm going to show you a couple of apps that I've used. One of them is probably the most famous language learning app that I've heard of, and that is Duolingo. And you can learn pretty much any language in Duolingo. I think they have Klingon in there as a course. Um, and there's another one here called Hiragana Pro. And I want to show you that one first because this app is really good and I don't think it's that well known. So I'm loading this for the first time in forever. Okay, so Hiragana Pro can teach you the hiragana alphabet. So let me just hold on a second. I'm going to come out from this screen and I just want to show you what these characters look like. So these are the characters in the Japanese hiragana alphabet. I think this is all of them. Oh, and there's some combination characters as well. Okay, so you've got the five vowel sounds here: a, I, u, e, and o. And if you've never learnt Japanese, you know, all of these would look pretty alien to you. Looking at this, before I learnt any Japanese, the only word that I knew was this one right at the end, which is no. And that's because you see this character a lot in Hong Kong. So there's a lot of Japanese things in Hong Kong, and there's a lot of things trying to look Japanese. So you'll see shops that sell Japanese products, like snacks and things like that, or cosmetics. And a lot of them will have Chinese names. And to make themselves look Japanese, they add this character on the right here, no, into the title. And it's a possessive character, so it means belonging to, kind of like an apostrophe S in English. And a lot of people in Hong Kong would be able to read this character. They might call it Zi instead of No, which is like the Cantonese pronunciation of the same word.
No,
Oh, there we go. The app just said it to me.
no.
No. Um, so when I first started learning Japanese, I knew nothing here, just that one word. And even that one word, I was pronouncing it wrong because I knew it from Hong Kong shops. Um, so this app is what I use to learn all of those characters. And I'll just show you how this works for a second. Oh, hold on a second. This is a little bit wrong. And I'm going to change the settings here. So when I just went in, um,
Ah,
oh, okay. So this is your first time playing. And it will show you the character and it will pronounce it to you as well. So there's a little speaker here. Hold on.
ah,
Ah. So there are three choices here, but really there's only one choice. Ah.
ah,
Okay. And then this is the next word here. And there's a few stars already there at the top because I loaded this app up a while ago just to see whether it still worked or not. This word I know as being I, okay? And you can see I've got 4 stars for that now. This word I know as being U, A again, I, O. And I'm just going to try and fly through this while I'm talking to you. Um, what this does is it gives you a few characters at a time, maybe 5 characters at a time. And you have to choose the right character from the multiple choice at the bottom. Now, there is a setting in here that I remember using. Let me just have a look. Okay, so if we look at the difficulty here, teach kana when first shown. So that means when it shows you a word for the very first time, it will sound the word to you so you know what the word is. So I want that to be turned on. We've also got just above here, play kana audio on correct answer. And I think that's pretty useful because you might not, even though you might be selecting the right answer, you might not be pronouncing it correctly. So I think that it's good to have that. So you have play kana audio on correct answer. I've got that turned on. Teach kana when first shown. Tap to show choices. Now I'm going to turn this on. Okay. And I'll show you what that does in a second. Subtract star on wrong answer. Okay. Now let me just come out and I'm going to go back into the app. Now you'll notice here that it hasn't given me any choices. And I like this. I like to be able to see the character and to remember what it is without the app giving you any tips. So I guess you could just not look at the options first and try to remember it. But I think it's a good idea for you to try to kind of remember it by yourself just upon reading the Japanese character before guessing it. So I remember this character as being U. There we go. And O. Now I want you to pay attention to these stars at the top of the page. Um, what happens with these stars is every time you get the answer right, they give you 1 star. And in the settings, I've just set it so that if I get the answer wrong, it will take away a star. And it will keep presenting me with this character until I get it right 10 times. And once I've got this character right 10 times, it will start to give me new characters. So let's keep going with this and see if we can load any new characters. We have e, I. I bet my pronunciation sounds so English. E, o, e. This one was a. Oh my goodness, I haven't learned Japanese in so long. Um, I used to be really good and really fast at this. Maybe I'm just nervous because I'm streaming it online. Okay, I've just got a message in the chat. Want to become famous? Buy followers, primes, and viewers. No, I'm not going to do that. Okay then. O, U, E, I, O, I, O. Ah, we're nearly at the end for this one. A, O. There we go. Okay, my little progress bar has moved across ever so slightly. And now that I've cleared all out of the way and I've proven to the app that I can read that word, um, hopefully it will start giving me some new words to look at, some new characters. So we have a again, e, u. Where are the new characters? Oh, we've nearly finished this one. I, u. There's no new characters. E, a, e. Are you bored yet? A, u, e. Okay, we finished this one. A, u, I, a, U, A. Okay, we have new characters. Now, I've seen this before. I remember what it is, but if I hadn't seen it before, then tapping it would say ki. This one is ko, ko, ke, ke. Now, one thing that I try to keep in mind is that, and this is gonna, you would think this goes without saying, but Japanese isn't English. Hold on a second. Hi there, Mirror Walker. I think this is going to be really helpful for me. Thank you for introducing me to the app. It is really good. This is Hiragana Pro. There's another one called Katakana Pro as well, which teaches the other alphabet. And it's available on Android. I haven't seen it on iOS yet, but there might be some similar apps on iOS. And it's really good. I practiced using this app for a while, and I used some YouTube videos as well. So there was a YouTube video. Let me just jump out of here and we can come back in a second. So there was a YouTube video from a channel called Japanese Part 101, and they've got a lot of content for learning Japanese on there. But this video, which I'm going to turn the volume down on this for a second and just play it in the background. Um, okay, let me just jump back. This video says that it will teach you all the hiragana characters in 1 hour. Now, that doesn't mean that you'll remember them all, but they've got some nice tips in here for how to kind of like memorize the characters in relation to other things. So I'll just, instead of explaining it, I'll show you kind of like what it means. Okay. I put a link in the description. I'm not sure if it's there yet, but there should be a link in the description to this video and to Hiragana Pro and Duolingo as well. So let me just show you how they teach you using this video to memorize all of the characters. So they're showing you A for the first time. Okay, here we go. Here's the character A, and they teach you how to write it, you know, if you actually wanted to learn how to write it by hand. But they teach you ways to memorize it. So the trick for remembering the character A in this video is like an apple. And it kind of looks like an apple, I guess. Um, let's have a look. So that's A for apple. E. The trick they give you for this one is that it kind of looks like two eyes next to each other. So you have A like an apple, I like two eyes, two letter eyes. And I'm just going to jump forward here. U. Now, I remember this one. So the way that they said to memorize this word is that it looks like someone flying back after being punched in the stomach and saying, ooh. It's kind of ridiculous, and it doesn't really look like that. I love that one too. Sorry, I just saw Mirror Walker in the chat there. Ooh is amazing. And for half of these characters, I remembered them from the thing that it looked like. For the other half, I remembered them because it looked nothing like the thing they said it was supposed to look like. So let's keep going with this. I'm not going to show you all of them because, you know, you really should go and watch the video on YouTube. Now this one, what does that look like? I think it looks like nothing. But according to Risa at Japanese Pod 101, this is an energetic ninja. Eh, kind of ridiculous. Um, hold on a second. This one is O. What was this one? A UFO. O. Um, this is, you know, at first blush, it's kind of stupid, but I found this really, really useful. So when I was learning hiragana, I was using this video and I was using Hiragana Pro at the same time. Um, so I would learn 5 characters from this video and then I would go into Hiragana Pro and learn the same characters over there. And using those two at the same time was a lot easier than I think it would have been just using one. Because, like, you could watch this video all the way through and learn a little bit and think that it was funny, but then when you actually see the character in the real world, you might not immediately remember which one it is or how to say it. Um, and using Hiragana Pro kind of primes you to remembering the characters much faster. Let me just jump back in here. Ah, okay, then here's another character. We have a few choices here. We have ki, o, and ku. We know that this one isn't ka, right? We know that. So we know that it isn't o because o is like a UFO. But I'm just going to jump back in to the Japanese Pod 101 video and see if we can find that character. So there you go. Before we get to that next one, we have a, I, u, e, o. So we have a for apple, I like an eye, u because you've been punched in the stomach, e which is an energetic ninja, and o like a UFO. Okay. So what they do in this video, they introduce a few words to you as well. Okay, let's just have a quick look. And I'm not trying to steal Japanese Pod 101's content here, but it's really good. Okay, so you can remember this one is the energetic ninja. We have I. Okay, we're okay with these. But let me just jump forward because they did introduce some words. So a and I, love? What's that word? There we go. That means love. I guessed that because in Chinese Mandarin, the word for love is I, or I. And sometimes Japanese words will be similar to Mandarin. Um, a lot of the time, they're quite similar to Cantonese as well. Okay, this one is ue, because I've been punched in the stomach. Like an energetic ninja. Ue, maybe? I don't know what that means. It doesn't sound like anything in Chinese. Ue, up or above. Okay. Yeah, I know that word. Now I'm just going to jump to the K's. Okay. Lesson 2. We're in the K column now. Okay. So they have this word. I know this one is ka. And let me just have a look here. I think that they had something like with a knife, like it's cutting. Yeah, okay. So they say that ka looks like a knife. Um, the way that I remembered it is that it looks a little bit like the Chinese character ga, which means the Cantonese character ga means to add something. And the left-hand side of the character looks like that. The right-hand side doesn't, but that was just how I remembered it. And I'm trying to find that character that we just saw because I know that it's in the K column. Okay, that's ka. Should be the next one. Okay, before we move on to the next word, which I think is the word that we're looking for, this video introduces like a few concepts to you, like how they have this dakten here at the on the upper right side of the character. I don't know if you can see you can't see where I'm pointing. Hold on a second. Right there. There's those two little lines at the top, and they actually change the sound of the word. And Risa in this video does a really good job of explaining that, better than I would. Okay, here's our word. Hold on a second. Ki. Doesn't it? It really does look like a key. So that is our word from Hiragana Pro. So we have ki, o, and ku here. Ki. And the last one, ku. Now, I'm not going to spoil it. The word ku on that video from Japanese Pod 101 is hilarious. So I strongly suggest if you want to learn hiragana, to watch that video from Japanese Pod 101. And if you've got an Android device, try to download Hiragana Pro. Um, I think it is free with ads. I like this app so much that I paid to remove the ads. So I practiced for about 3 weeks using Hiragana Pro. I went through the whole alphabet here first, and there's another app which I don't think that I have downloaded. It's called Katakana Pro, and the layout and everything is exactly the same as this one, and it will teach you the katakana alphabet. So, if anyone doesn't know, the hiragana alphabet is used mostly to. This is my understanding of it. That hiragana is used mostly to read Japanese language words, but katakana can be used to approximate sounds of other languages as well. So if you have words like loan words from English or from other languages that are being used in Japanese, they would write those in katakana. But Japanese words would be written in hiragana or in kanji. So there is a Katakana Pro app, and there is another video from Japanese Pod 101 that teaches katakana. I had a more difficult time learning katakana than I did hiragana. So this this alphabet here I found quite easy to learn. Hold on a second. I'm just going to see whether I have Katakana Pro installed. There we go. I do have it installed. Okay, let me show you the katakana alphabet. I think this is harder. Some of the words look kind of similar, or you can see that there's a relationship between the words. So if I jump backwards and forwards here between the two, um, let me see which words were similar in both. Oh, I'm struggling to find some now. Okay, ka. So if you look over here, the ka here kind of looks like the ka that we just learned from the video and from Hiragana Pro. The only difference is that there was like a line on the right hand side of that character, ka. Even the ki, when we saw that in Hiragana Pro, there was a little loop at the bottom of it that you're not getting here. So some of the words look kind of similar, some of the words don't. And there's a lot of words which kind of look the same as each other. Like here we have and ma and mu. I always get them wrong. And I have watched the katakana video on Japanese Pod 101. I have learned using this app. I still get it mixed up sometimes. But, I think, oh, I've just lost my Hiragana Pro. So I think my key is gone. This app's great. And I use both of these apps, Hiragana Pro and Katakana Pro, and the Japanese Pod 101 videos. Okay, hold on a second. So in many cases, you'll need to learn multiple characters for the same word or sound. Kinda. So the like you have the vowel sounds here at the top, a, I, u, e, and o, and those sounds are exactly mirrored in both character sets. So if you read Hiragana Pro, so if you're looking at Hiragana or Katakana, they both have the same sounds in them. But in Japanese, they will use the other alphabet, as it were, for certain words. So you have to learn both of them. I would suggest that you learn hiragana first because you're going to get the most use out of it. But you can't really avoid learning katakana. You can't. You just have to learn it. Uh, Wait till you get to the kanji because like you have to learn some Chinese characters as well. And I know from some foreigners living in Japan that a lot of them don't learn that much kanji. That they focus on learning hiragana and katakana because you can learn it faster. So yeah, before traveling to Japan, so I'd been to Japan with my family a couple of times, and I decided that I wanted to try to learn this. So I used these two apps and I used those videos, and I practiced for a few weeks. So when I was, going to work, I would have my headphones in and I would play this like a game. There is a quiz in here. I haven't done this for a couple of years, so okay. So there is a quiz where it will test you on all the characters, and then okay, this one should be ne, e, yo, i. You remember that one? We've just done that. And this one that looks like an apple. Okay. So this one should be re. Ah, there we go. You, ma. This one is mu, ri. Okay, I'm going to stop there because I don't think it's interesting to watch me do this whole quiz. But if you look at the top, it's got all 46 characters. So my target when I was playing this game and trying to learn them all was that I should be able to get all 46 characters right first time. And this quiz that they have kind of lets you measure that. So it will time how long it takes for you to do it. And it took me a while. It took me a while watching that video and practicing and using the flashcards that I showed you at the beginning, like using these flashcards to learn them. It took me a while to learn the whole character set, but we traveled to Japan and it was really, you know, eye-opening. I remember walking around and I still couldn't speak Japanese, right? I didn't know the grammar. I didn't know much vocabulary, but you would see things on menus like the word sushi. And I would see that written in Japanese or in kanji, but you could see it written in hiragana. And I know what sushi is, right? So when I see the word sushi written in Japanese, um, I would recognize it. And I remember um, I was with my mother, and one of her friends in the UK had asked her to buy a certain type of cookie for her from Japan. And we were in this supermarket looking for the cookies, and her friend had written down the name of the cookie in English, in Romaji. So it was a Japanese word that her friend had written out with English characters, with English letters. And we were in the supermarket looking at this wall of all these different kinds of traditional Japanese cookies. And we were looking at them one by one. And I picked up one packet, and the name of the cookie was written in hiragana. And I told my mum, I can't remember what it was now. And I looked at the name in English and I looked at it in hiragana, and I was like, this is the one. And my mum said, are you sure? Because she knows that I don't know Japanese. It's like, are you sure this is the right one? And I was like, yep, I really think this is, at least the name is the same. I mean, you don't know whether there's like different varieties of the same cookie or not. So yeah, my mum bought those cookies and I didn't hear any complaints. So I'm going to assume that I got it perfectly right and that my mother's friend was perfectly happy with the cookies that we bought. Who knows? I could have got it completely wrong. But I'm confident because I could read those hiragana characters and it was the same as what my mother's friend had written. So it made life easier. It literally made life easier, being able to read hiragana, even though I don't know Japanese. So yeah, that is the first app that I wanted to show you. Um, if I'm going to, you know, start learning Japanese again, because all this was, 2, 3, wow, 4 years ago, and I haven't really looked at this in the meantime. So if I'm going to get back into learning Japanese, I'm probably going to fly through Hiragana Pro. Um, I'm going to do Katakana Pro again, and I'm going to use this app over here, which is Duolingo. Okay, then, welcome back. Let's start by reviewing the basics. So the app knows that I haven't been here for a while. No thanks. Oh, I should have reviewed the basics for you. I'm sorry. Okay. Duolingo is now available in dark mode. Great. Hold on a second. Got it. Okay. So Duolingo, um, let's just have a look here. There you go. Japanese, Korean, Klingon, Dutch. I did try to learn Dutch again, and I gave up again. Um, I have given up learning Dutch 3 times in my life. But yeah, this is Japanese. And here they also teach, hiragana, katakana, greetings, introductions. And unlike Hiragana Pro, um, Duolingo positions itself kind of as being a complete course. People, activities, nature, kombini, and they have classes and topics, and you can see how little I've done of this. And I'll show you how it works. These broken eggs up here, oh, hold on, where did my Duolingo go? These broken eggs at the top are there because I haven't done this in so long. I think the app isn't confident that I can remember any of this. Let's jump in. Okay. Okay then. Say that again. Chi. Now, with Duolingo, I sometimes have problems with the pronunciation of words in here because I'm listening to this. Chi. Um, you kind of have to remind yourself when learning a foreign language that it isn't English or it isn't your native language. So if I see CH in English, I'm thinking ch as in, church or cheers. Uh, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that CH kind of exactly maps to whatever the sound is in Japanese. It might not. So wherever possible, I think it's probably best to listen to the pronunciation of, preferably native speakers. So if you're learning from the Hiragana Pro, so if you're learning from the Japanese Pod 101 videos, there's native speakers in those videos teaching you how to say the words. And I'm going to assume that they're correct. Um, with the apps, I'm not always that sure, but chi, okay, we'll check it. Sa, i, oh, i. And you can see something a little bit similar here to what was in the Hiragana Pro app. Okay, they give you multiple choice. So select the correct answer for sa. So we have i, we have this one is sa and chi look almost the same. They're just the other way around. I think this one is sa. Okay, good. The next one is yo, and then the last one should be chi. Okay, so we've got that right there. Should I go through the whole thing? We're in this together. You're practicing Japanese with 11,619 people. Um, I don't think they're all online right now. How many people are in Twitch right now learning Duolingo? Hold on a second. I'm going to do a quick search for this. Duolingo. Oh my God. Okay then. There is only one person in the world streaming Duolingo on Twitch right now. I don't know how many people are streaming in YouTube, um, but you are looking at the world's premier Duolingo streamer. I would never be that on Fortnite. Okay, um, let's keep going. Mm. Uh, I'm rushing through this. Again, what I would do is I would make sure that I could remember every single character before choosing the correct answer. So at the top left, I think this is yo. And in my mind, again, I have these little tricks that I used at first to remember what the characters were. And I think that it looks a little bit. Hi, Mirror Walker. Thanks for following me, by the way. Um, I think at the top it looks a little bit like a Y, and I think at the bottom it looks a little bit like an O. So that in my mind that is yo. I don't know why, but I think the next one looks like ni. Then we have I, which our friends at Japanese Pod 101 told us looks like two eyes. And we have n, which for me kind of looks like a lowercase n. So I kind of remember it that way. Okay, what have we got here? So unlike Hiragana Pro, in Duolingo they have like different kinds of activities that you can use. So here we have we have to match the pairs. So we have I. The next one should be chi, chi, ni. I bet my pronunciation's terrible. Okay, so this is where Duolingo kind of, moves away from what you would have been learning on Hiragana Pro. So on Hiragana Pro, you are just learning characters and sounds. That's it, nothing else. Um, from the Japanese Pod 101 video that I just shared, there are some words included in there. There's like some basic vocabulary, and what they would do is they would take the characters that you'd learned and combine them, and then they would give you kind of like a simple word based on the characters that you've learned. Here, in Duolingo, they do pronunciation, they do characters based on what you've learned, like words based on the characters that you've learned, but it moves on to like sentences and questions and answers, which kind of leads me on to my question, which is, could you actually learn Japanese from this? Um, right now, I don't know. I don't know whether, just using an app like this, like Duolingo, whether you could actually get good at a language. My instinct tells me no. Um, but maybe it could give you a good foundation that, in combination with other things could help you to learn. I kind of think that you do need a human at some point because if you have a lesson, and I did have some Japanese lessons, spoiler alert, I actually learned a little bit. This is the premier Japanese language learning textbook, Mina no Nihongo. Um, Everybody's Japanese, I guess it translates to. And I did have some one-to-one lessons with a Japanese teacher ages ago. Um, I haven't seen her for a very long time, but I did have some lessons, and it was good because when you have like a one-to-one lesson, if you get something wrong, the other person will immediately correct you. Or if there's something that you're confused about, you know, they're right there. So, like in English, we have the words here and there. Um, and I'm going to butcher the pronunciation of these words, so I'm not going to try just yet. But I remember when I was learning Japanese, there was another word for there, which sounds kind of further away. If you've learned Japanese, then, maybe you should write that word in the chat. Um, and I didn't immediately get it from the textbook or from the apps. But when I was sitting in front of the teacher, she could tell me straight away what it means. So there's something quite good about having the direct feedback of a real human who has experience teaching. That said, you have to pay for one-to-one lessons or for group classes. And these apps, they're free. So, maybe before you sit down with a Japanese teacher, you might want to try these apps first and see how useful they are for you. Okay, then, which of these is white? Now, the answer is obvious. Um, well, unless you have problems seeing different colors. Um, but we do have the hiragana words underneath. So we have this word, aka, aka, aka. Now, I don't know where the emphasis is, so I'm looking here at the hiragana characters, and I can see there is an a on the left that looks like an apple, and a ka, which looks like a cutting knife, as we saw in the other video. But is it going to be aka, aka, aka? I don't know. So let me just turn up the volume. Aka. This next one is shiru, shiro, shiro, shiro. Okay. Then we have nana, uh, made famous from the. I don't know whether it was a good movie or not. 15 years ago, there was a movie called Nana, and it was based on a manga and an anime. And 15 years ago, when I was a little bit younger, I thought that was the best movie um, that I had ever seen from Japan. Uh, I wonder how well or badly that movie has aged. I remember there was a lot of smoking in it, so it might not have aged that well. And this last one, uh, a, o, ow. Hey, Mirror Walker, you love the Nana manga. I never read the manga, and I never saw the anime. Um, but I saw the movie, and I remember I went to see the movie in the cinema here in Hong Kong, and I loved the songs so much. Um, I got into Japanese music at around that time. So I already knew a couple of Japanese artists. There was a there was a Japanese group called Kinky Kids. Kinky, not not Kinky, Kinki, Kinky Kids. And it was these two guys who had a television show where they would interview musicians and they would have like live performances. And it used to be on Hong Kong television in the middle of the night. And I was always up in the middle of the night. And I got into music kind of like based on whoever had appeared on that show. Um, and then I went to see Nana, and I started to really like the singer from there, Nakashima Mika. And then after that, I went to see a concert with Ayumi, Hamasaki Ayumi. My pronunciation is probably not good. And I had friends in Hong Kong who were fans of Ayumi, and I never really, I hadn't listened to any of her music or anything at that time. But when I went, oh, sorry, I went to see Ayumi in concert here in Hong Kong, and it was probably the best concert that I had seen here at that point. It was so good. And normally, if you go to see a concert, like because it was a tour, the tour version of a concert normally isn't that spectacular, right? Because they're traveling around to lots of different places, and you don't expect the stage to be kind of really that impressive. But the stage that they had for the Ayumi concert was really dynamic. They had these different sections that would raise up and move around, and the concert was so much fun. And I went into that concert not knowing much about Ayumi, and I came out as a fan. I really did. So, like, if you look at my YouTube music, the very first artist that appears on the page right there is Ayumi Hamasaki. She's really good. Followed by Mika Nakashima, who I love from the Nana movie. Um, and the great song Glamorous Sky, which I can't sing. Hold on a second. Okay, back to our colors. We have Aka. Shiro. Shiro. Nana. Wonderful movie. Um, which I'm scared to watch because it might not actually be very good. Ow. So o, we get ow. Huh? I just made a terrible mistake. um, as I was saying, my plan when I'm learning these things is to test myself on every single word. Sometimes I forget that you're actually supposed to answer the question. The question was, which one of these is white? White is not ow. White is shiro. Okay, matching pairs. Chi, I, ni. That's not hard. Okay then, which one of these is red? Fortunately, red is the last one uh, to select here, so even if I just go through the list as I did before, um, I'm not going to get it wrong, am I? Okay then, this first one, is it ichi or ichi? Ichi. We have ao, shiro, and aka. As you learn Japanese, so like as I've learned Japanese, I've noticed that some there are some things that I had heard before, but I didn't realize what they meant. So I I follow a YouTube channel. Hold on a second. Let's see if we can find it. Let's go back to YouTube, and we are going to search. Oh, you can see what I've been searching for, and you can. Let me just have a look here. Shiba Shiro. Is that the right name? No, it's not this one. Hold on a second. It's going to be in my subscriptions. There was a channel that I followed. Where are you hiding? There was a channel that I followed, and it was a Japanese family sharing dog videos. And I can't find it right now. Um, maybe the channel isn't here anymore. And the name of the dog was Shiro. So I didn't realize until, learning Japanese here that Shiro means white. Okay, Aka was the right answer for this one. 2 in a row. We're doing well. Okay, red. Yep, that was the one we just did, so it's still fresh in my mind. Now, that said, if you were to ask me, a few hours from now how to say red in Japanese, I'd probably forget. But right now, I remember that it is aka. Now, let's look at these other words here for a second. We have san, aka, and how do you say this one? Is this one hai? This is hai, like yes in Japanese. Hai. Okay, we didn't. Ichi. We know that. That's number one. Ichi. Blue. What was blue? It wasn't aka. Okay, what have we got here? At the top, we have got ohayo. Ohayo. Ohayo gozaimasu. We have ao, which I think was blue, and we have aka. Okay, we're doing well. Ao, blue. Okay. One. Ichi. Okay, what have we got here? We've got aka, which is red, hai, and ichi, one. Now, I would prefer it if Duolingo would actually sound the word out every single time. It didn't this time. Blue. Okay, we have aka, which is red, shiro, and ao. Okay. Ni. Ni is two. Okay. Oh, hold on a second. And it's not going to really help here, but There's turtle speech. So if you want the app to tell you the word more slowly, so you can listen to it a little bit more carefully. Ni, ni. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, 2 is ni. Oh, I've just noticed something. So at the very bottom here, so if you look here in the middle, we've got our two choices. We've got ichi and we've got ni. We've got the keyboard here as well. And you could actually type in Japanese if you know how to type in Japanese. Okay, my keyboard, oh no, hold on a second. This has changed. Um, I have I have the Google keyboard installed on my tablet, and there is a Japanese language option. And you can see here they've got the 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, they've got 10 Japanese characters. We have a, ka, sa, ta, na, ha, ma, ya, and ra. Again, I'm probably pronouncing this wrong. But if you wanted to write ni, ni is not here. Look, it's not here. We have na in the middle. We don't have ni. So on the Google keyboard, if you put your finger on the key, oh, it's not showing it. It used to show you in different directions, different characters. So if you drag it left, you get ni. Oh, there must be a setting. Hold on a second. I'm going to see if I can change this keyboard because the previous keyboard, hold on, let me just clear that out. The previous Japanese keyboard has disappeared. The previous Japanese, let me try this on my phone. Hold on a sec. Because I have got a Japanese keyboard on my phone as well. Look, can you see that? Hold on, I'm going to do this like it's a cosmetics thing. Okay, right there, next to the characters, you can see all of the other characters. I don't know why that's not showing up on the Google keyboard here. Is there a preference that I can change? Let's have a look. I can't see anything. Keyboard height short. How about if I have a normal keyboard? Will it give me more characters? Nope. This is going to be difficult. Okay then. So let me show you. We're going to start with A. This'll, because we already know those characters. So we have, if you tap it, you get A. If you pull it to the left, you get I. If you push up, you get U. If you pull it to the right, E. And pull down, O. So for all of the vowel sounds, you start with this character A, tap for the A, but then you go I to the left, U is up, A, I, U, E to the right, and O is down. And every character is the same. So if we look over here at ka is a tap. You pull to the left to get ki, which looks like that key that we learned earlier. You push up and you get ku. Pull to the right, you get ke. And pull down, you get ko. So I guess you develop muscle memory. I'm pretty sure you will. So A is a tap, ni is left. Okay, na, ni, left. Okay, so I just swiped na to the left to get my ni, and that should be the number 2. Yay! Okay, we're doing well. Maybe. Ichi. Okay, that should be the number 1. Ichi. The other one is ni, right? Shiro, the name of that dog. Oh, okay, so we have Shiro, we have Ao, and Aka. Ao was blue, right? And Aka was red. Shiro. I'm going to be so good at colors by the end of the day. Okay, then. We have aka, shiro, ao, and nana. Which one of these is white? The white one. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of weird things in Duolingo, like trying to get daily XP, trying to have a streak and not break your streak. I think some people might like that. I kind of don't care. Um, no thanks. I click no thanks for everything. Okay, and you can see that this very first lesson, Hiragana 1, is now uh, not broken anymore. One cool thing about this app is that you can see how well your friends are doing. So you can add friends on the app, um, and you can see how hard they've been working. So let's have a look at, is this like private or personal information? Okay, let's see how well my friend has been doing with her language learning. Oh no. So I can see from this that she hasn't practiced all week. I hope she's okay. She used to be very hardworking. Okay, then. So yeah, you can add friends on this, and you can add me if you really want to. Hold on a second. Let's have a look. How do you add me? My name is right there at the top, AnthonyKel. I don't know if the big A and the big K is important, but yeah, add me on Duolingo. I will add you back, and you can see whether I actually keep this up. Anyway, I'm going to go now because it's getting a little bit late and I do have things to do. But thanks for joining me and thanks for following me as well. And take care, everyone. Bye bye.